Hello little buns, it is Steph. Welcome back to my home. This is a very exciting video for me because it's been a long time and I haven't done a video on my estrogen progress for a very, very long time. I did one back around a year and a half, although I will admit it was before a year and a half on estrogen because I was excited to get an estrogen video out. However, I've waited until almost exactly 2 years on estrogen to make this video. I think it's going to be on the 26th and I'm releasing this before that, but not like maybe a few days before that. So it's soon, it's real soon, it's happening. I also have 2 more super exciting announcements in this video that I will pepper throughout. So you'll have to wait until the end for the more exciting one in my opinion, but you know, I will let you know 2 exciting things here. So, you know, in the comments, discuss those things maybe. Maybe it'd be fun, you know, I don't know. Of course, first I do want to discuss the physical and mental effects of estrogen on me at the 2-year mark. Before I get into that though, I want to make a couple things clear. Number 1 is everybody's transition will be different, so if there are things that I am experiencing or not experiencing that are different from your experience at 2 years on estrogen or sooner, whatever, you know, that doesn't mean either of us are wrong about our perception, or that doesn't mean one of us isn't working properly with our pills or however you're getting your HRT administered. It just means that our bodies respond to these chemicals differently, and that's normal, that's okay. Everybody has a different experience with hormones. And the other thing is that there is no right or wrong way to transition. You do not have to go on hormones, and if you do, you do not have to get surgeries. Everybody is different and everybody needs different things to feel more comfortable or to alleviate their dysphoria, which is the feeling of discomfort that you get that kind of makes you realize that you might be trans. Not every trans person has dysphoria. That is a fact. You know, I have less than I did when I started. Does that mean I'm not trans anymore? It's a complicated conversation. But the bottom line is everybody's different, okay? So my experience will not be your experience, probably. And that's okay. I'm gonna touch the physical first because I feel like that is what everybody is most keen to hear about. I'm kind of shocked about my breast development. I feel like it's stopped. They are sore, which, you know, they haven't been sore for a while, but I haven't noticed growth for maybe a whole year. Like I just feel like nothing has really changed. I have some dimension and some fat, but really they're pretty flat. I don't feel like I have breasts. I feel like I have a chest, you know what I mean? And I used to be very adamant that I would wait at least 2 years, which, you know, to be fair, it's been 2 years, you know, to see how my breasts would develop before I'd consider getting breast augmentation. And here's announcement number 1 is I am getting breast augmentation in February. The surgery is slated and booked for February 13th, 2018. I still have to get all of my blood work done and everything to make sure I'm still good. But really, unless I have some, you know, life-threatening situation, I should be fine to get surgery on February 13th, 2018. So I'm very excited. And I will be doing a full, intense, you know, coverage video series like I did with my facial feminization surgery on that. You can find a playlist linked to that in the description box. You know, a whole playlist about my facial feminization surgery and recovery and all the gritty stuff. But I will be doing a similar series for my breast augmentation, so you can look forward to that. I am very excited. I think we're going for something like, I don't remember the exact number. It's been like a month and a half since I went for my consultation, but I think it's like 330 cc's, which I think directly translates to 330 milliliters per boob. I think, I don't know, I don't remember, but they're gonna be like a full B or like a C, I'm not sure, somewhere in there, but they're not gonna be like a full double D situation. Moving on from breast, there is body, and I will tell you, my muscles have shrunk so much. You know, they're not completely gone. I still have a pretty buff upper body, but it's not like it was before. My neck and shoulders, there is no comparison to, you know, older situations, I'm really struggling here to show you this shit. I hope my nipples aren't popping through my bralette. I mean, I have collarbones and shit. Like, everything is different here. This is not the same at all. And I really thought I would have to get some kind of surgery for that or something, but I didn't. And I'm kind of, you know, I'm pleasantly surprised by that because that really used to be a huge source of dysphoria for me. And it still is sometimes depending on the situation. I haven't really measured my neck, but I think it's safe to assume that it's like half the size it used to be. When I wore men's clothing like 2.5 years ago, I used to have to wear a large shirt, even though my torso was a small, because the neck just wouldn't do up. I would have to get a large. And you know, when I first started transitioning, wearing women's clothing and everything, my shoulders and my neck were a big problem in terms of fit for clothes. My neck and shoulders were never really fat. They didn't have fat on them. They were just muscular, very large and very round and very thick. And you know, clothes that used to fit me are now loose in those areas, and clothes that I used to have to struggle to get into, even just like regular cuts and fits that I would have trouble with before, are so much easier now. Like chokers, I used to not be able to do chokers up, and now I can wear them. And they're still a little bit snug, like I have to go to the biggest size, but it's not to the point where like, I coughed once and my choker flew off my neck, like it broke. It was like it was a situation. And I don't have that trouble anymore, so that's nice. So we've hit neck and shoulders, breasts, okay, waist and hips. My waist and hips have developed a lot recently. I don't have like an hourglass figure. That's not gonna happen naturally for me. And a lot of the girls you see with those hourglass figures and the massive hips, they're saying it's natural. I can guarantee you, a lot of those people have silicone, which is not a bad thing. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying a lot of them won't admit to it because you're actually not, I think it's like black market. So, you know, talking about it's not really a great idea. And like I said, everybody's transition is different. So maybe some of them it's natural, but a lot more people have silicone than you think. So I don't want you to hold yourself to a standard of I have to have a tiny waist and massive hips, because for a lot of us, it's just not natural. It doesn't happen. And the same thing goes for cis women. A lot of those girls have silicone. Just don't compare your hips and your waist, because I think for a lot of us that is a source of dysphoria. Because, you know, for me, I really want those like wide hips and like that childbearing figure. Like I want that. And it's been hard for me not to compare myself to girls that have that. I don't know. Just be careful when it comes to that, and acknowledge that it's you know, not everybody is forthcoming with the work they've had done. So don't compare yourself as somebody that has not had surgery to somebody that has had surgery and think, why am I not looking like that? Because that's just not reasonable. That being said, I definitely have wider hips than I used to. I notice it more in the mirror than in photographs, which might mean that it's not real. But really it doesn't matter, because what matters most is how I see myself, and I see myself in the mirror. And I noticed that my hips and my like lower body, starting at just around my belly button area, is wider than my ribs, and that is a new development. I used to have a more of a Dorito shaped body with like no hips at all and just like kind of straight up and down. So I'm very glad I have that. It's a very comforting thing for me. And I have been using my waist trainer more. I'm still not consistent with it, and it's not a very good quality. It's the same one I bought ages ago, and it's like the worst thing I've ever. It's awful, and it's falling to pieces. I'm interested in getting a new one, but they're an investment, they're expensive, so I'm still I'm dancing around that idea. We're gonna see. And I guess, you know, in general with my body, there has been some change in fat redistribution just as a whole. You know, when it comes to neck, shoulders, you know, chest, waist, hips, and like even just my thighs and legs. The entire body, like I said. Fat sits differently than it did 2 years ago. And I can't say it's a drastic change from 1 year to 2 years, or even from like, you know, 5 months to 1 year. It's hard to quantify where these changes happen and how, you know, where the fat is on my body. It's hard to really word it or like place it. It's hard to know. But overall as a whole, all of these little changes that happen just drastically alter the way your body looks. And at 2 years, I can say I'm very satisfied with what I have and the results of my estrogen and my hormone replacement therapy. I'm very, very happy. I just want to also clarify my dosages with my pills. I've been on 3 milligrams of estradiol, which is estrogen, and I have been on 100 milligrams of spironolactone for like a year probably. A lot of people go up to 4 milligrams very quickly with estrogen, or even higher, but where I am in Canada, I think the maximum dosage they allow is 4 milligrams for estrogen. And my doctor doesn't want to put me there until I have plateaued in terms of development with my 3 milligrams. He's just going very slowly, because one of the side effects of estrogen in hormone replacement therapy can be breast cancer development, and increases the chances of that happening. And I think he explained to me that a slower rising dosage helps prevent that from happening. It keeps it a little bit more manageable, and you know, just they can keep on track of things a little bit better. I think that's what he explained. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe I am actually living in the upside down, and none of you are real. And I'm living, you know, in this alternate universe and nothing is real. Maybe that's what's happening. Or maybe I'm right. I don't know. Could be either one. I think the last physical thing to really touch on is my face. And it's different because I have had surgery now, whereas at my 1 year in estrogen video, I didn't have surgery yet. But it's been almost a year since my facial feminization surgery, which I had December 16th, 2016. December 16th, 2016. So we're approaching a year next month, and that's exciting. Early on after my surgery, like in January and late December, I was super swollen, and that was very obvious in the way that I talked after surgery in those early videos. And I will do a full video on a year after with my facial feminization surgery, but I want to touch on it briefly here because it's important. The swelling took about 6 months to really go down completely. After that, I noticed that my face was starting to take shape. But I don't think it really settled until last month or the month before. And he did tell me, Dr. Spiegel did tell me it will take a year for all of the healing to be done. And I was like, oh, okay, we'll see. I really thought I wasn't swollen. I did not know I was swollen in that video that I'm showing you in here right now. I thought I was like, oh, this is my jaw, which was smaller than my old jaw. So I was like, cool. But I didn't see the crookedness. I didn't see it. I don't know, but it was swelling. And you know, it turned out he did a fantastic job, of course. and I'm very, very satisfied with the results. But like I said, I will do a full video on a year after my facial feminization surgery kind of thing. But the general gist is, cool, I love it. It's great. Thank you. As far as laser goes with hair removal, facial hair, I'm working on that. I'm actually working with a company here in Toronto to create a video all about the process and about my experience. It's been a long time in development just because I want to get it right. I want to get it right. I want to answer all the questions and make sure it's all together. So if you have questions about laser hair removal, please let me know in the comments so I can hit on those in the actual laser hair removal video. But the general idea with that is I've had about 5 appointments with a new laser practitioner, a new company, and the results have been way better than the last place I went, and there's a reason for that, and I'm gonna touch on that in the actual laser video, of course. But you know, I pretty much have, like, I just have a little bit of hair right here now, pretty much, and like 5 hairs in other spots, but it's really, there's not much at all left, and I'm very, very happy with those results, so that's going great. And again, I'll do a full video on that, so let me know if you have questions about that at all, please. What else is there to talk about physically? I mean, some people think hair and nail growth changes with estrogen, but I haven't really noticed anything significant. There's nothing I can really say about that. So I guess we'll just hop on over to mental changes, happiness, mental health, things like that. I will admit that I am struggling right now with a lot of mental health things, but I think it's winter. You know, I think it's something to do with that, and I think it is to do with other things in my life and not transition, because as far as transition goes, like, everything is great. You know, everything is looking the way I want it to look, and I'm going in a very good way with all of that stuff. So all of the negative stuff I'm feeling has nothing to do with my body or my face or, you know, gender dysphoria. It's all just social. It's all like other problems I'm having, okay? You know, as far as like emotional volatility goes and things like that, because a lot of trans women, when they go on estrogen, they explain that they just go crazy. And I think part of that has to do with the way that we're taught to perceive women having feelings as like hysterical, which is totally inaccurate and ridiculous. So I think some of us just have that internalized, you know, anti-feminine kind of thing where it's like, oh, emotions are crazy. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't feel like I had that though, and I think maybe it's possible that other people do experience that because they go right to 4 milligrams of estrogen right away, and that is a hard spike of hormones. Like, that is pretty intense. Whereas I had a slow buildup from like 1 milligram all the way to 3. Now, 2 years later, I'm 3 milligrams. I'm not even at the max dosage after 2 years. So it could be that some people, when they go on a high dosage really fast, maybe they do experience that kind of thing. But in my experience, that did not happen. Something that comes up a lot when people ask me about this is libido. Sexual kind of things, like, what's up with that, girl? How's your dick, basically? Like, how is it? How are you doing? I would say it's pretty much following the pattern of the 1 year on estrogen video, which I, again, will have linked in a card somewhere on this video. And that is that, I mean, it's not gone. It's not disappeared, but it's different from how it was before transition. Before transition, like, anybody that was like a willing sexual partner, I was like, yeah, let's go. You know what I mean? I was in it to win it. Like, I don't know. I enjoyed all kinds of casual whatever before estrogen. But now that I'm through 2 years of transition, I really definitely need an emotional connection with the person. And that's not, I don't think that's because of estrogen, because women have casual sex all the time. But I think it's just changed, and I think maybe I was using it as a coping mechanism before. I think I was using empty casual sexual encounters as a coping mechanism for gender dysphoria and for feeling undesirable in the way that I wanted to feel desirable, you know what I mean? There's a lot of layers to that. Basically, I don't do that anymore, and now the way that I view sex is very different. And I think that it's relevant, but I don't think it's 100% because of the effects of estrogen, you know what I mean? And I think that's worth discussing. I definitely enjoy sexual encounters, but it's not how it was before. It used to be this very, like, you know, wild race, kind of. Like, it was like, you know, you did it to get to the end, right? And now it's not like that. It's more like you do it because it's great and you enjoy it and it's fun and you want it to last. And like, you know what I mean? I don't know, I don't want to freak people out with my sexual talk, but I mean, that's just how it is for me now. And I think that's fantastic, and I'm happy with that. So if you also are on estrogen and you're having an experience of any kind, but you know, you've noticed it change or shift, let me know. I'd love to hear about that, because I think, you know, it'd be interesting to examine what's up with that, you know what I mean? I'm not sure there's much else I can really say. I guess I would like to clarify that, you know, going on estrogen or transitioning medically and having hormone replacement therapy doesn't change who you are as a person. So, you know, I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh yeah, like before estrogen, I loved playing video games and now I love buying makeup and like having a chihuahua in my purse. That's not what it is. That's not That's not how it is. Every single person is three-dimensional, and they have different likes and interests and different kinds of things that they enjoy that come up at different parts of their life. So, you know, I enjoyed video games before transition, and I still do. And I enjoyed makeup before transition, and I still do. I'm the same person. I'm just happier, more stable, and I know myself better, and I'm just way more relaxed, and I don't have this nagging, horrible feeling of discomfort in the back of my brain 24/7. I can relax, you know what I mean? Yeah, you know? Yeah, that's my life. That's it. That's my whole life right there. You got it. You know me now. I really don't know what else to say, but I'm very, very happy. And, well, I'm very, very happy with my transition. And I think it's important for young trans people or people that are early in transition to hear that it does get better as you go. If transition is what you need, you know, and you just don't know if it's gonna feel better, I can tell you that I felt horrible at one point, and I do feel better now. I do. So it can happen for you too if that's what you're feeling, and you know, I wish you all the luck in the world, but just remember, nobody's transition is the same as another's. You should not compare your transition to another person. There is no step 1, 2, 3. There is no right or wrong way to do this. Go at your own pace, do what you need, do what you think is best for yourself, and just listen to yourself and listen to your instincts when it comes to that kind of thing. As for the most exciting announcement in my opinion, guys, I am a featured creator at VidCon 2018. I am so excited about this. Never in my life, when I first started doing YouTube as a full-time job, did I think that I would have the opportunity to be a featured creator at VidCon. And it's not that, you know, it's necessarily only super big YouTubers that are featured creators, but to me I feel like it's like, it affirms that what you're doing has captured somebody's interest. You know what I mean? And I don't think I need that affirmation from a convention, because I have all of you guys, but it's like, I don't know, it just makes me feel really good to you know, to be invited to a convention like that and to be on panels and part of workshops and things like that. I just feel really good about that. So I hope I see you there, VidCon 2018. I'll put a link to their website in the description box so you can look into tickets and travel and all that good stuff. It is in Southern California, it's in Anaheim, so a lot of people, you know, it can be very expensive to travel and get tickets and stuff. But if you're able to come, I would love to meet you there. I promise you, I will be there in full force. I'll be doing all kinds of things. There has not been discussion about like what panels and things I'll be involved in yet, but I 100% am going to be involved in those things. So you can find me there on some kind of event, not just wandering around like I did last year as like a guest. You know what I mean? I will be there as a professional. I'm so excited. And if you guys know any other creators that have been invited to be featured or that are going, let me know who you'd like me to collaborate with, because it is a cesspool of great creators there, and I would love to be able to hook up with a lot of people and create a lot of, you know, videos for you to consume. You know, it's a great opportunity to meet and collaborate with other creators. So if there's somebody you want me to work with, let me know in the comments. You got so many questions to answer down there today. I'm so sorry. I love you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Until next time, just remember, every single person in this world is different and has a unique experience in their life. And there is no need to compare your experience. Well, I mean, comparing experiences is actually quite useful in learning about other people. But I mean, you don't have to compare it in a way like, why am I not like that person? You know what I mean? Compare it in a way to like, find these differences and celebrate them. You know what I mean? Celebrate yourself or whatever. I love you. I love you so much. Bye.